Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about parallel octaves and fifths and hidden octaves and fifths. So these are things that are very important as we start to learn full voice writing, and they're things that you want to avoid. So a parallel octave is when the two voices go from a perfect octave to another perfect octave in the same two voices. So here we have a bass and a soprano on G going to C's, and that sounds like this. So the purpose of full voice writing is that we get four distinct melodies at the same time. They may not be super interesting melodies, but they're melodies. And what a parallel octaves does is basically take us out of that. It doesn't sound like we have two melodies happening there. It just sounds like we have one thing. So we want to avoid parallel octaves. And it's the same thing if the bass was going down. If we go from this octave to this octave, it still counts as parallel octaves. It's called parallel octaves by contrary motion. We want to avoid that too. Same thing with parallel fifths. We have a perfect fifth there, and this only counts for perfect fifths. So perfect fifth there, a perfect fifth here. The two voices are moving there. It just doesn't sound right, right? And so same thing, if that went down, even if we had that contrary motion, that would still be parallel fifths. We don't want that. So between any two voices, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, if you have two octaves in a row or two fifths in a row, you're going to have these parallel octaves, and it's going to make your chorale sound worse than it could be. Hidden octaves and fifths are a little bit different. They only occur between the soprano and bass voices, and they happen when the soprano leaps into a fifth or an octave in the same direction as the bass. So in this example here, the bass is leaping into a G, the soprano is also leaping into a G, and so that makes that a hidden octave, and that's a bad thing. It's as bad as a parallel octave. Do you hear how we have this nice consonant and then it just sticks out? It ruins our texture for us. So that doesn't count if you're going in the opposite direction. If the soprano had been hopping down to that G, which hopefully we wouldn't do, that wouldn't be as much of an issue. It's when they're going in the same direction and both leaping. If the soprano stepped into the octave with the bass, that would be okay. But since it's leaping, that makes it a hidden octave. Same thing here with the fifth. We're leaping into a perfect fifth, and that's not okay. If you were stepping into the perfect fifth, it would be fine in the soprano, but leaping in the soprano in the same direction as the bass into that perfect fifth is going to make a moment that stands out in an undesirable way. Hear how that it just doesn't sound right? So we're going to try and avoid these parallel octaves, parallel fifths, hidden octaves, and hidden fifths.